Hey Internet, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is the Dawnbringers, the Forge of Fury, Season 2, Episode 13. I kiss thee ere I kill thee. And I will give 1 point of inspiration to the first of any of you who can tell me what that title comes from. All right, I will give 500 experience points to the first person in chat that can identify where the title comes from. I kiss thee ere I kill thee. I will tell you before we get the actual game started. If you were watching last week, then you definitely know that the title has a strong implication. And we will get, well, if you Google it, Chesick, then that kind of defeats the purpose. But I can't stop you either. Anyway, we'll get into the recap in just a moment. We do have a couple announcements as per usual. First off, I'm going to throw into the chat the link for Metade roast coffee, available now. This Brazilian and Peruvian medium roast coffee blend is a collaboration between Initiative Coffee Company and Mini Terrain Domain to support Jasper's Game Day. You can follow that link right now and order coffees in 12-ounce bags. I selected the roast. I got to taste some various coffees and choose the roast I thought best represented the Mini Terrain Domain brand. And though it's an Initiative Coffee Company, takes care of, with their roasters and everything else, the production of that coffee. Metade Roast does have the Mini Terrain Domain logo on it. It is branded in, it's actually a part of what they call their Help Action series of coffees, which maybe Jeremy should get some kind of tie-in with this Help Action series that he has. Anyway, every time you purchase coffee, Metade Roast coffee, a portion of those proceeds go to benefit Jasper's Game Day. And speaking of Jasper's Game Day, we've been talking for so long about the upcoming Jasper's Game Day charity stream taking place right here on Mini Terrain Domain. That begins this Sunday. And instead of listening to me give a spiel about it right now, why don't you listen to me give a spiel about it right now? Mini Terrain Domain presents, in association with Benway Jones and Jason Teeter, 5 days, 15 games, 40 hours, one great cause. With games mastered by Castle Mac, Mini Terrain Domain, WebDM, Little Red Dot, Kaylee, Celeste Conowitch, Erasmus Expeditions, Nerdarchist Dave, Grimjack, Drop the Die, James Haig, James Intercasso, Jonathan Fry, B. Dave Walters, and Dan Dillon. Featuring these incredible sponsors. Sunday, May 12th through Thursday, May 16th, 4 p.m. to midnight Eastern daily. Jasper's Game Week, only on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. All right, so all the information was right there. Sunday, May 12th through Thursday, May 16th from 4 p.m. to midnight Eastern time daily right here. And if you were paying attention to that list of sponsors, and you can go to Mini Terrain Domain on YouTube and you can check out the video, go to that point and you can pause it. We've got sponsors such as Wizards of the Coast, D&D Beyond. You could have a chance to win a legendary bundle valued at almost $500. Several packs of WizKid minis, Pacesetter Games miniatures. We are going to be giving away several bags of Metade Roast coffee every day. An anonymous donor has donated 30 bags of coffee to the charity stream for the week. Probably just want to make sure that we're going to stay awake for those 8 hours every day. But one of the ones in the larger font off on the upper right side was Critical Role. One of our big giveaways, and yes, we will be giving this item away when we reach our fundraising goal for the week, is a Tal'Dorei campaign guide signed by the cast of Critical Role. I've seen pictures of it. The game's organizer, Jason, actually has the physical copy of the book in hand. And they signed it on the next to their characters in the cover, inside cover of the book in gold Sharpie. And that thing it's just awesome. It's going to be an awesome giveaway. So there we have lots of great stuff. And that kicks off this Sunday. I'm going to actually be Saturday. I'm going to be in Howell, Michigan at the live event for the local Jasper's Game Day, running Tomb of the Mummy Lord. And I will be bringing the next thing I'm going to talk about. Something, if you follow me on Twitter, you have seen this, no doubt, is now I have a green screen and large portions of this are green, so it's not going to fully do it justice. This is the Dice Tower of Mesrol. It is a 2-stage dice tower designed to look like a jungle pyramid, but you know what? This holding it up on this tiny little screen just isn't doing it justice. Why don't we show you what the dice tower looks like in action? And I just noticed that the chat command that I set up has the text about the how you can bid on it, but I didn't put the link in there. So I'm adding the link now, clicking submit. So now if you mention Dice Tower in the, try this, Dice Tower, boom. It might take a minute for it to refresh. But anyway, I think it looks like V may have already dropped that link in there. V already, or no, Chesic student did. And V. V dropped something. I don't know.
The Facebook link in so people can
people are dropping links left and right. I don't know what's happening.
My link is pictures, but if you have it hooked up to your YouTube, maybe it'll go to the right source. I don't know, but I just wanted people to see the pictures you put on Facebook because they were good.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that. This is a labor of love. I designed this thing from the start with the intent that it would go to Jasper's Game Day. All proceeds raised in the auction that is going on at least for the next couple of days. There's already a few bids on it. Follow the link and you can see what's going on there and see if you want to get in on that. Because if you win the auction for the Dice Tower of Mesrol, you will literally be the only person in the world that owns this dice tower. So that wraps it up for pregame announcements. I need to fix something or else it's going to go wonky the next time when we come back from break. Okay. So as you may have noticed, Megan is not with us tonight, but we have already had, Megan and I had a private powwow to figure out how we're going to handle Fig. So we're going to see what happens because these guys are in a bit of a sticky situation. Who, for a point of inspiration, would like to recap last week's session? Or I will do it for that sweet point of inspiration. Oh, Talmud's jumping into the fray.
Die.
I'll do it. You have to remember, like, I play in like 7 ongoing campaigns. So like even from one week to the next, I'm kind of like, I don't really remember what happened last time. But I'll give it a go. So we found several more places where there were dwarven corpses and orc corpses everywhere, skeletons. And we found a bunch of small rooms that kind of came off of this hallway. One of which had a rug in it that decided to try to eat us while we were, some of us, I should add. And we fought that. Then we moved on and found an animated suit of armor that also tried to attack some of us. And then we found, This is why I don't do these. Was there another ghost?
No.
Remember that, right? No. See?
No, we heard the voice.
Yeah.
Well, first off, I was the one to hear it. Nobody else did, which totally surprises me. We eventually went down, and the voice was someone crying.
Yes.
And that person crying wound up being
There we go.
the woman. Want to take it from there?
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the alley oops there.
The woman.
So we found Griveth's future wife, bawling her eyes out already. Poor woman. And the rest of us kind of suspected that maybe something wasn't quite right, but Griveth sure didn't. And now the two of them are macking on each other's face.
That about sums it up. Take a point of inspiration. Thank you, Jeremy, for that recap.
So for Dawnbringers, I think there was a record number of explored rooms last session.
Yeah.
That is a fact. Typically, you guys are making it through 1 to 2 rooms a session. And last week, I think we figured out you went through like 9 or 10 rooms.
Yeah, utterly crazy.
So as Ted said at the end of last week's session, for the next 3 weeks, we will be in this library.
Yes. Role playing.
There's a lot of books
balance,
to read.
right?
You know, Talmud just wants to sit down, curl up in a corner with a good book. So, without further ado, we're going to jump back into it, just as Griveth has, without any hesitation, said that he will help this young woman find this evil wizard that is lurking in the halls and that has imprisoned her here. And she declares, "Oh, my champion, thank you so much." And unbeknownst to everybody else, Griveth was magically brought under this woman's charm. She says, "Please take my favor," and approaches him, gets up on her tiptoes, and begins kissing Griveth. You all hear the muffled from Griveth as you start to see dark lines, the veins moving away from where she's kissing him. As this is happening, Griveth, in your mind, you hear the words, "My champion, defend me. Keep these evil people from hurting me." And as you hear these words, you look and you see your friends. You see Cantriel, Talmud, Thorgarn. You see the one that you waver between whether it has a soul or not, the toy Fig, the construct standing there. And despite the fact that you know all of them, they're attempting, they want to hurt your charge, this young lady. What are all of you going to do?
Oh, I'm casting Hold Person on Griveth when I start hearing him struggling. Something doesn't seem right.
Meanwhile, Talmud is looking, kind of leaning over towards Thorgarn. Did he figure out how to cast charming magic?
Can I insight any of what is going on between the two of them?
You can insight, but what expressly are you trying to insight?
Well, when we see the black veins, on his face, right?
Yes.
So I want to look at their faces and see whether there's anything that is belying that it's just a kiss. Does that make sense?
Sure. Give me an insight check. Meanwhile, Griveth, you need to make a wisdom saving throw versus Cantriel's spell.
So insight of a 19.
All right. And how's the wisdom save there, Griveth?
I got 14.
Oh, shoot, you just make it.
Oh, damn it.
All right. Thorgarn, you look, and what you see, what your eyes see, is a dirty, disheveled woman with tear-stained cheeks suddenly up on tiptoes, kissing Griveth. And you see there's this sort of, he seems to almost be resisting, and you see this sort of black veins appear for a moment. There's no other indication of anything else happening. There's no changes in appearance or anything like that.
Well, then I will resist any of the, metagaming things that I want to do. And I will say to the woman, so where is this wizard that you want killing?
The young woman who has identified herself previously to you just moments before as Elizabeth kind of pulls away from Griveth, from this kiss. Griveth, you have a sudden relief in the pain and pressure that you felt. And just as a recap for people who might be keeping track at home, we had originally said that Griveth took 26 points of psychic damage from the kiss. After we went off the air, that was amended because I forgot to add the modifier to 31 points, which also his hit point maximum has decreased by 31 points. As she pulls away from you, Griveth, she just sort of slides so that she's standing mostly behind you with one hand on your shoulder, kind of the back part of your gorget of your armor, and her fingers are inside, just stroking the back of your neck as she looks over at the rest of you. No longer looking quite as frightened. She seems to be more bright-eyed. And she looks at you, Thorgarn, and she says, "The evil wizard's name is Hraskar."
Could you say that again?
Hraskar.
And where might we be fighting him?
He's around here somewhere, I'm sure. In your mind, Griveth, you hear, "My champion, keep your eyes on them. Do not let them hurt me. My life is in your hands." He's a very dangerous wizard. He's kept me captive here for so long.
Do you two know one another?
No.
It just seemed like a very, very familiar kind of way to say hello.
He just declared himself as my champion.
He is my charge.
Yes, Griveth, but we had that conversation about asking permission first.
Oh, she did kiss him.
Do you?
Yeah, fair point.
Do you make out with all of your charges? Or is that the
I don't
new-
like your tone, Talmud.
Thorgarn, you feel
Yes.
a tap on your shoulder. Fig is leaning down towards you and says, "I don't fully understand this custom. Is this a normal thing for people to press their faces together like that?"
Usually it's a sign of affection between two people, but it's very personal, and it's not one that just everyone does.
I would like all of you, and I'm remembering as I'm about to have a roll here that Megan did provide a link to her character sheet that I need to have open. Curse you guys in your active chat. I have to scroll so far back. Where is this?
It's only a week old. I mean,
That's like, 100 comments back?
Oh, no. Oh, yep. There we go. Yeah, I thought I had scrolled back like 2 or 3 weeks. Nope. That's still today. Still today. While I'm oh, there we go.
We've
I
been
got
chatty.
it. I got it. I would like all of you to roll an insight check. And normally I wouldn't do this, but for this particular thing, because I believe in letting the players see if they notice something might be up. But we split the scene, and it's been a week. So I'm going to roll insight for Fig.
All right, so whatever is going on, I'm looking in the wrong direction. I have a 7.
Fig also has a 7. You two are just caught up in your conversation about what kissing is.
Haha. You guys
Cantriel got an 18.
What about Talmud?
saying, haha, you guys didn't see anything. I got an 8.
I've got the ears and the eyes tonight.
Cantriel. Your mother, who is still in shadow form, leans in close to you. She does that sort of thing where she's kind of facing away from you and maybe looking like she's looking at the shelves of books. As she just sort of leans into you and she says, That girl just said the wizard's name was Hraskar.
We can telepathically communicate, right?
Can you?
I think so.
Yeah, I think I did say that's right. She can communicate. That's right. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we're thinking.
So she's thought chatting you, mind chatting you. She's like, that girl said that the wizard's name was Hraskar.
Yes, she did. Ringing a bell for you, Mum?
No. What should be ringing a bell for you is that not 2 minutes ago when you asked her what the name of the wizard was, she told you.
She didn't know.
He never told me his name.
Right.
So why does she suddenly know what his name is?
Something tells me she's not to be trusted.
There's definitely something off about her. Keep your eyes on her. What? Why don't you go ahead and roll an insight check for your Shadow Mom?
For Shadow Mum? Okay. Let's see. Mum. Okay, Mum got a 14.
She just says, there's definitely something off about her. I'll keep my own eyes on her. All right. Are you going to go seeking out this wizard for me?
I was just about to, say if I could leave the library and take a look around, see if I hear anything.
Of course we are.
You don't by any chance have a physical description? Maybe make it a little bit easier, just in case.
She did give you a physical description previously.
Cantriel's testing her.
Ah. You know what? Give me a second. That was another one of those things with the bridge, with the time gap. I just wanted to make sure. So I'm going to roll an insight check. Oh. So I'm rolling an insight check on her to see, since obviously I know what's going on. She rolled a natural 1 on her insight. She's just sort of looking up at Griveth now, very openly clinging to him. And the way in which she's clinging to Griveth, her body language, of course, the others don't recognize this, but Cantriel, you do. Her body language has shifted from poor defenseless to she's acting like a clingy girlfriend. As she's sort of leaning into him, she actually has her head leaning against Griveth's shoulder. As she looks up at him, she says, he's a wizard. What more do you need to know? He's old. He's gray. He's got robes and a staff and a wand.
Is he a little touchy about people passing by any chance?
He's touchy about all people.
Well, probably best you stick with us before we go wandering around.
Oh, I could not leave the library. But I need not worry. The 4 of you can go find the wizard. And my champion will keep me safe here.
Well, I can understand the attraction, my dear, but there's a slight problem. He's kind of the brawn of the group.
Wait a second.
Work with me, boys.
Oh.
All of a sudden, Thorgarn, Talmud, and Fig all look up like, what?
So, middle of the conversation of with Fig, all I hear is, "Well, he's the brawn of the group," with your hand pointing towards Griveth. But what are you talking about?
And her eyebrow shoots up. I'm just saying, if you want this to be a successful mission for you, to make sure that you're safe and you're rescued, really it's best if Griveth does come along with us.
Well, that does make sense. We do kind of work best as a team.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, there's no telling what they'll get up to if we leave the two of them alone.
Are you worried that they will press their faces together again?
Something like that is the other end I'm worried about.
You see Fig look at you and kind of cock her head, then she looks over at Elizabeth and Griveth and just sort of rotates her head until her body, so she's trying to envision them upside down.
Okay, go have the talk later.
His head.
Yeah, his head.
So Griveth, shall we go deal with this wizard?
In your mind, Griveth, you hear, "I want to be left alone with my champion. Convince them to leave the library now."
We can't leave her alone, and she can't leave. You go seek this out. I will stay here and guard her. Make sure that no harm comes to her.
But Griveth,
I've got this. You guys can go.
But Griveth, didn't you vow that you would take care of this wizard?
Yes, you can't do both. You can't protect her here in the library when we're out to go and kill him.
But we can't leave her alone.
Well, maybe you can convince her to come along with us and you'd have a nice companion along the way.
She already said she can't come.
Or we just hunker down in the library then. She did say he comes back every so often.
Yeah, we could lay an ambush.
He
Exactly.
hasn't
He's not
been
expecting
back
us here.
He hasn't been back here in quite some time. There's no telling when he could return. He's a very powerful wizard, and I fear if he catches you all here in the library, he'll destroy you.
Well, quite frankly, my dear, I fear if he comes in here with you and Griveth, in various states perhaps, that neither of you will make it out of this room.
There's some sense in that.
No wizard can take me down.
So
sounds like we're talking ourselves in circles here.
Yes, I say you guys go out and check it out.
So essentially, we're all chasing tail. It's just different kinds, and she's going to pinch the bridge of her nose.
She's staring at you now, Cantriel. She looks up at Griveth. Looks back at you, Cantriel. Her hand comes down off of the back of Griveth's neck. She looks at you, Cantriel. You certainly are a firm force of will. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. You get to do so at advantage because of your elven nature.
Okay. That's another 18.
Let's see. Spell save DC is 100. Where's the DC?
We're mathing.
Okay. So, let me see something real quick. Just for your records, make a note. You are actually immune to this effect for 24 hours. She turns away from you. You're feisty, but you're not the strongest here. She looks back to Griveth, and then just because I've been dying to roll this Kraken D2 that I got. She's looking at the two dwarves, and there are two sides here to this. There's a 1 and there's a Kraken. Talmud is the Kraken, Thorgarn is the 1. I'm going to drop it on its edge and see who she's going to go after next. And that is Thorgarn. I need a wisdom saving throw from you.
Wow, nice. That is a dirty 20.
She's now looking amongst all of you.
Now, is there any visible interaction that gives away what she's doing? Or is she just talking and we've and we don't really notice?
I'm going to allow another insight check because you weren't really looking for this with your previous one. Cantriel is already suspicious. She already knows that there's something off with this woman.
So that is a nat 20 for a 24.
It suddenly dawns on you, Thorgarn, that this woman has completely, within the last 2 or 3 minutes, completely changed her demeanor from the helpless victim to she's almost coming across, even though her words are saying different things, her tone is implying manipulation.
She's contradicted herself to some degree. She's gone from crying and helpless to now arrogant and confident, right?
Yes.
So Elizabeth, I'm not certain everything here is as it seems. What is it you're trying to do to us?
You think
That's preposterous, Thorgarn. What are you talking about? Do to you?
She holds a hand up to you, Griveth. It's okay, champion.
When we came in, she was crying and sobbing and helpless. She asks for help, and then when we say we're going to go do it, she won't let you leave. You vowed that you were going to go kill the wizard, and we're going to go kill the wizard, and yet you can't do your vow? That's not like you at all.
My vow is to protect her, and she must remain here. We can't leave her by herself.
But you also vowed...
Even your small dwarven head should understand that.
True. My head is not as big as yours. But you did say that you were going to kill the wizard, and I'm trying to get us to go kill the wizard. And now you won't do it. That's not like you. Usually when you say you're going to do something, you do it.
I'm doing it. I'm protecting this maiden.
Griveth, didn't you also vow that you would protect Cantriel?
You
Is
see,
that vow forgotten?
That is a slight conundrum there, dear Griveth.
Griveth, in your mind, you hear, you had a vow to protect that elven bitch.
Griveth, he kind of blinks for a minute, when you confront him with this, it didn't occur to him or something weird, and there's that split second of realization, something's wrong, but then his eyes go back to the look of don't fuck with her.
She, in your mind again, Griveth, you hear, I don't like her. You don't like her either. She does not leave this room. Do not harm the automaton. And all of you watch. And none of you hear this.
Oh, I'm sorry. I have a quick question for you, Jake. That the feelings that he has for Cantriel, that's in direct opposition to that. Can I make a save? Could I make a save to snap out of it because she's directly contradicting his deep emotional?
I'm going to allow this because it has been established over the course of now 25 sessions of roleplay that Griveth has a very deep emotional connection to Cantriel. And that is absolutely, I think, makes sense. I will allow you to make a save against her. I'll allow you to remake the saving throw.
No, never mind. I was going to say, can Cantriel kind of send him some inspiration?
No.
When she's saying, Griveth, dear.
All of this has been happening inside Griveth's head.
I know.
Oh, no! I rolled a 1.
You have a reroll option.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to actually use one of my inspirations and not use the... God. Okay. There we go. 19.
As she says this to you, Griveth, and she tells you she will not leave this chamber alive. And then she tells you, do not hurt the automaton. And all of you see as this woman begins to fade. She's no longer corporeal as she transitions into, she transitions out of view. And it's at this moment, Griveth, that conflict causes something to snap. And you realize that this woman has been manipulating you and had you under some kind of a charm. What do you do, Griveth?
Yeah, it's like a flash of light in the darkness that I realize this. And Cantriel, you see like my eyes soften, like I'm looking at the group, and I look directly at you, and you see my eyes soften. You see that I'm like back. And I kind of wink to you. I don't give myself away.
Head lolls slightly to the side, smile on his face.
Cantriel would look back and you'd see, because she usually has a sly grin on her face, but you'll see her corner kind of upturned, so there's actually a full smile about to happen, so you know that she's gotten the message from you.
But the woman faded away?
She has faded away from visibility.
Well, she's going to be far harder to protect now, considering we can't see her.
So,
what's happening?
Go invisible, Cantriel?
Well, I've been known to drive away some love interests, but never in such a way, no.
So do we really think there's actually a wizard out there?
Friends.
Are we sure she's not still in the room?
Friends, I think something is wrong.
Fig, what's wrong?
Fig's head is kind of jerking. Friends, something. I'm not alone. Fig raises a hand, begins forming the effects of a spell that you have seen Fig perform before. As gears begin to turn, but you've never seen this before, as you begin to see more traditional spellcasting Fig has always had a very specific mechanical effect. This also looks very jittery, not quite as controlled. I need everybody to roll for initiative.
That 18's my number tonight. Sorry.
Wow, that's awesome. I got a 15.
Let's see. So
Tabletop loot, Faye Moss dice. Go get him tonight.
Yeah, seriously.
Figs. 1 second. Need.
Jake, are we still treating Mom as going when I go?
Yep.
Okay.
And then let's see. So that's gonna be. All right, and Griveth, what'd you get?
15.
Excuse me, Cantriel.
That was an 18.
18.
Yeah. It's my number tonight.
What's your dex?
Oh, my dex. +3.
Huh. Give me another roll real quick.
On a 23 instead.
Okay. So I'll give you the 18. All right. Thorgarn.
That's a 9.
Talmud.
A 12.
Okay. Here is the order. Fig has first go, followed by Cantriel, followed by quote unquote Elizabeth, followed by Griveth, Talmud, and Thorgarn. You see Fig struggling with himself as if his body is just not functioning properly. And I am going to have Fig make a saving throw. So Fig successfully disrupts the spell casting and is going to cause you, because this spell that is being cast, when or if the entity actually functions through Fig, it will either be at disadvantage or you will have advantage on any saving throws against these spell effects, because Fig successfully disrupted whatever was happening. So you don't see any kind of spell happen. You see like the hands start to come together, and then you hear that kind of like gears grinding against themselves, and Fig starts to sort of move his hands back apart. Cantriel, it is your turn.
All right, so she's in Fig, correct?
If that's how you choose to interpret what's happening, sure.
Lovely.
That's a different way of saying you don't actually know.
Not sure. Yeah, no, I that's what I'm trying to try and figure out here. So I can't see her. All right, so that throws out that plan that I had going. So then I think what would happen is Cantriel would, in this case, hold action. And I'm going to hold the spell Bane in hopes that I will see her appear again. Because right now I'm not sure if she's in Fig or what's happening.
All right, so you are holding until you see her.
Mm-hmm. And then Mom is also going to hold her action until she has a sense or can see her as well, type of thing.
Perfect. You hear Elizabeth's voice, but tinged with Fig's voice and cadence. All you had to do was leave this room, and your deaths would have been quick and painless. Now I'm going to make you hurt. And you watch as the hands suddenly complete an arcane gesture. You see them begin to glow. As the hand is raised up, you see a brilliant ball of light, and then it is slammed down in the midst of all of you. You all need to make dexterity saving throws at advantage, as through Fig, she has just cast a fireball in your midst. And I'm going to make a saving throw for Fig.
Everybody gets a +3 from being near me.
Oh, even better.
Oh, because of your paladin feature.
So you just pushed me to another 18 plus.
That pushes me to a dirty 20.
I gotta see what
24 total.
And a 17 for myself.
I don't use D&D Beyond character sheets very often. I can't find Fig's spell save DC.
Should be last page.
What do you mean last page?
You
Click on
scroll all
spells.
the way down. You scroll all the way down. It should have what spell Megan has, selected.
What is her intelligence modifier?
I have. Oh yeah, I guess I could do the math on it.
Yeah,
It's
it's
8
11 plus whatever she's got.
It's where's her intelligence? Okay, so it's going to be. Did anybody get under a 16?
No.
I did.
I also need one of you to Cantriel, why don't you roll me a d20 and add, or rather roll with advantage and add 1 to it.
Oh, the lovely Neptune dice that Tabletop sent me just gave me a nat 20.
All right, so Fig also saves on his saving
Oh,
throw.
thank God.
So, once again, anybody get under a 16?
I did.
Domain dice. Oh, something in my throat. Sorry.
Okay,
Reroll, darling.
Domain dice.
I mean, you got 47 of them.
Yeah.
And you're already
The
down.
fans have been giving them to you for this purpose.
I didn't get any better.
Oh, so okay. Oh boy. All right. So
Yeah.
Griveth, what is your? Well, we'll deal with that when it comes up. So as you guys all know, with a fireball, that is going to be 8d6.
People in the chat were asking you to use the dice tower, by the way.
I thought about using the dice tower. I can't position it good enough for it to show up on camera, and because it's officially up on an auction for somebody else to get, I don't want to compromise it. So this is the result of that roll. So that's going to be 5, 10, 15, 20, 26, 29, 30. Griveth, you take 30 points of fire damage. Everybody else takes 15 points of fire damage. I need to see how many hit points.
You guys see Griveth try to block some of the fire with his shield, but it just kind of sweeps around the shield, engulfs him, and then he kind of falls back into motion and slams into the wall, and you just see Griveth slide down the wall unmoving. I am at 0 hit points.
Exactly, or just
Well below.
no.
A little below.
I
A
think
few.
Griveth has enough hit points that he wasn't in danger of hitting his maximum, but
No.
although your hit point maximum is now lower, so it's a much lower threshold.
I only went under by like 1 point.
Okay, Griveth drops. I need to make a note because while I have her character sheet, I do not have access to the editing portion of it. Fig, surprisingly, seems to automatically sort of take a reflexive defensive movement, but you still see flames licking around him. Thorgarn, Talmud, Cantriel. Cantriel, did you roll a saving throw for your mother?
No, but I can.
Yeah, you need to roll for her.
Okay. And that would be, you said Dex, right?
Yep.
Hold on, where'd her sheet go? I have her sheet. That's going to be a 14.
So that's going to be a fail. So she takes the full 30 points.
So she's gone.
Yeah, so she just, as the flame just and bursts in the middle of this room, you just realize your mother is no longer there. But you do hear her voice. For a moment, you hear, that's okay. It's okay, dear. I'm still here in the bow.
All right, Mom. Let's try and get this bitch.
So that is her turn. It is Griveth's turn. So Griveth, I need a death saving throw from you. Griveth has not been doing very well on saving throws tonight.
No, I haven't actually. I got a 13.
All right.
No modification, right? That's right.
What's that?
I was just saying there's no modification.
Yeah,
so
it's
I got
a straight dice roll. So 13 is a success. So that's one saving throw success. Talmud.
So the fireball seems to have originated from Fig, right?
From what you can tell, it looked like Fig cast the fireball.
Yeah. So Talmud, who up to this point has not caught on as to exactly what is going on, he just knows that this woman has disappeared. He looks at Fig. Fig, what in the nine hells are you doing? Like as he's like patting out like some of the fire on his armor and his beard.
I'm not. Shut up.
All right. I'm going to say that's probably enough to tell Talmud that I'm so sorry, Megan, that he's going to attack Fig. Fig's a metal box, so he's going to pull Gerta out. The first one is a 26 to hit.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna beat the armor class.
The other one's a 23, so I'm assuming that's gonna.
Yes, both of these are going to hit.
Oh, all right. First one is 10 points of bludgeoning.
Gerta collides with Fig, and you see segments of the metal components of Fig's chest actually seams open up as you cave Fig's chest in with your first hit.
And the second is 9 points.
With the second one, as you follow through and you strike Fig with Gerta, you see this moment where Fig actually goes sort of picture cinematically slow motion as Gerta connects. Fig goes arms and legs up, flying backwards, and it's like in the Doctor Strange movie when the what's her name, the Great Wise One or whatever, hits strange and knocks his spirit out of his body, you see the ethereal form of this woman knocked out of Fig's body.
Cantriel's casting Bane.
The ethereal form, as she flies out, you see her sort of take on this corporeal form and sort of boom, hits the wall and just sort of looks up at you, hair hanging down, very much like in The Ring, just and Fig, in a clatter of metal, collapses unconscious to the ground. Not enough, obviously, to kill Fig, but Fig is unconscious.
Can I ask as a construct, do constructs have to make death saves?
Yes.
Okay.
This is one thing we'll miss out on, because, man, I would love to hear Megan's description of what Fig going through this would be like. In 2 weeks, when we return after Jasper's Game Week, we'll have to get a little bit of a retroactive have Meg play that out for us. So you're casting Bane. Is that a saving throw on that, or is that just it happened? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a charisma saving throw on her part.
Charisma saving throw. That is a natural 1.
Yeah.
So Cantriel will be looking over to her. So, all right, dearie. While I may not be completely on board with claiming him completely mine, he's certainly as hell not yours. And she basically, from her fingers, extend almost like this electric green mist, and it just shoots from her fingertips directly into the chest of Elizabeth. And right now, she is going to have to subtract a d4 from her rolls from attack or saving.
I will grab my d4 next to my d20 here. All right, so that was your held action. Threw off my order here. That was Talmud, so it is Thorgarn.
Yeah. So there's a split second, hesitation as Thorgarn walks towards Griveth and Fig.
Can I interrupt quickly?
Yeah, go for it.
And then Cantriel would look over to Thorgarn and let's knock the bitch off her feet, sweetheart, and you're going to get bardic inspiration.
Okay, well, I was going to do something else, but if you want me to attack, I'll attack.
Well, no, I mean, you have it for the next 10 minutes. So.
Oh, okay. So thank you for the inspiration.
You can also put it, because I'm Valor, so it's attack rolls and such. So
you're D8 right now?
D8, yep.
So then with that, I will put a hand on Fig, and in my celestial voice called a Tamoradin, and I cast Spare the Dying.
Nice. All right. Actually, make me a Arcana check.
Ugh. Yeah.
Actually, if it works better for you, since you are a cleric as well, use your religion.
Oh, religion is definitely better. I'm going to use a domain die. Because that 10 became a 20, 30-20.
Okay, so you do not burn your spell slot as you begin to perform this spell.
It was a cantrip, but...
Oh, okay, well, you don't have to burn your action doing that because you realize that Spare the Dying does not work on constructs.
Oh, okay, well, then I will use that on Griveth instead.
Hopefully Griveth doesn't find out he was your second choice to save.
Not unless, Cantriel or Talmud's going to say something.
All right, so you move across the room then to Griveth to touch him and spare him from death. So, Griveth, you will no longer be making death saving throws. You are at 0 hit points, and you are still unconscious. I would actually like you to roll a d4.
There you are. You pointy little thing, you. I got a 4.
Unless revived by other means, you will remain unconscious for the next 4 hours. If that is to say, if they were to just leave you unattended, you would revive at 1 hit point after 4 hours. All right, Thorgarn, that is you. We are back to the top of the order. It is Fig, and I will put it to the 4 of you. Would you like me to make Fig's death saving throw, or would one of you like to roll that? I can roll it on the dice cam.
Yeah, roll it on the dice cam.
All right, let's see. Fig has magical blue energy, so I'm going to use one of my... Where'd it go? One of my Caribbean Kraken dice here. That is a 6. Fig has failed his first death saving throw. Cantriel, it is your turn. Fig lies in pieces on the floor. Griveth lies unconscious with Thorgarn next to him. You have previously just cast Bane on the now corporeal Elizabeth over against the wall. And I should mention that this whole time, like the table and some of the bookshelves and even some of the papers and books are on fire. What would you like to do, Cantriel?
How far would Fig be away from Cantriel?
You are all close enough to benefit from Griveth's initial saving throw bonus, so everybody was pretty close together, within 10 feet of one another, at least 5-10 feet.
Okay, so I have done cure wounds with Fig before. Right?
Yeah, you can do cure wounds on constructs. Just spare the dying specifically says that it does not work on undead and constructs.
Okay, that's where I was getting fuzzy. All right, then Cantriel would race over to Fig, and you'd almost see like kind of like a slight panic in her eyes, and she would sort of like slide right into him and just scoop up what she could around her and start cure wounds on him.
Just a point of note, just to clarify this, if you do this, that's fine, but you will provoke an opportunity attack.
Oh, that's what I was wondering where she was. Okay.
She's basically, you knocked her out of Fig, who collapsed, and she's like so the wall's right behind her. So you will move into her reach if you do that. All
right. I had her pictured in a different spot then. Then in this case, Cantriel's going to take bow and aim at Elizabeth. And as she draws it, she's going to do her little, let's put in the Cantriel rune instead with her bow.
All right.
No, wait, not the Cantriel. It's the, the oath bow factor, not the Cantriel one.
Well, you know that you must activate that with a certain phrase.
Yes, and I'm trying to, there we go. Swift defeat to my enemies. And her eyes are going to narrow, and she pulls the bow back. And dear God, please let this hit.
Crit. We want a crit.
16. Hold on, 16 plus. I got a math. The 22.
1 second. Did you roll that at advantage?
Yeah.
Okay. That was a 16.
Don't know
That-
22 because I forgot to put in
Okay.
the.
Yep. That hits.
Okay, nice. And then, holy cow! I just got a full. Okay, so that's 11. Piercing.
Did you roll the bonus dice?
The bonus dice on it? What? Hold on.
Yeah, read your
I got the advantage. Sorry,
Yeah,
this is
but-
my first time doing it.
Yep. When you make a ranged attack roll with this weapon against your sworn enemy, you have advantage. In addition, your target takes no benefit from cover other than total, and you suffer no disadvantage due to long range. If the attack hits, your sworn enemy takes an extra
3d6 piercing.
3d6 piercing.
Hell yeah!
I thought that sounded
bitches!
awful low. I did not hear enough dice rolling.
Oh, sweetness. So that's going to be an extra 12.
So that's 12 on top of the 11.
Yeah, so that's 23.
Nice. This arrow flies faster and hits harder than any arrow you've ever fired. And it just homes right in on her, piercing her through the chest, just missing her heart, enough to drive through and force her back against the wall as she just took 33 points of damage from this single arrow.
Wait, wasn't it 23?
You said 12 on top of the 11.
Right.
12 and 11 is 33.
12 and 11 is 23.
23.
That's what I said.
23!
Wow, okay. I don't know what's wrong with my math. I blame the school system I went to. 23.
That whole common math they keep
It's still
throwing
a
at
pretty darn hard hit.
Yeah.
All right. Is that the end of your turn? Thorgarn.
That should be Talmud.
Nope. Thorgarn. Why would it be Talmud? We're third in the initiative order.
I'm last.
I know. Thorgarn. I need a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought you were saying I'm up.
Thorgarn, no. Thorgarn, no.
I don't want
That was an I don't want to, you can't make me.
Wait a minute. No.
No, it's Talmud.
Wait, did you make a charm saving throw against her earlier?
I did.
And did you succeed or fail that?
I succeeded.
Disregard, because you are
Okay.
immune to that effect.
Like I said, it was not supposed to be me.
So no, that's right. I misremembered which of the two of you was affected by that. It was Thorgarn. So Talmud. See, Ted knew all along. Talmud, I need you to make the wisdom saving throw.
He knew I belonged under the bus.
Behold my nerddom.
Thorgarn's picking up an entire bus. Get under it now!
It's a wisdom save?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. I'm going to spend a domain die.
Does he get advantage because we're in combat?
Why would that matter?
Never mind. I thought that was a thing here.
Okay, so now I got a 9.
Talmud. In your mind, you hear, that elven bitch wants to kill me. Don't let her. And you know that this voice is talking about Cantriel. And whatever Cantriel may mean to you, you know that you can't let her hurt this woman. As you are now charmed by Elizabeth.
Funnily enough, that's not the first time those words have come through Talmud's skull.
So that is her Griveth. You're unconscious. You know what? I'm gonna have you make a death saving throw, but it's not really a death saving throw because you're already stabilized. But
Cool.
I'm doing a thing here.
Cool. Any bonuses?
Nope, just straight D20 roll.
10.
10 is just barely enough with all of the chaos around you and the fact that that last moment of thought you had before you were hit by this fireball that took you down was the feelings, the deep emotional connection you had to Cantriel that broke you free from this woman's charm. That pushes through the unconsciousness. And you have just, your eyes are just fluttering open. You are no longer unconscious. And you have 1 hit point.
Awesome.
Talmud, it's your turn.
So Talmud, having just waylaid Fig, turns around and is kind of looking around like, why in the world was Fig even doing that? But before he can do much else, this kind of darkness kind of settles behind his eyes, and he turns and levels this hard stare in Cantriel's direction. And as he does so, the tattoos on his hands and arms start to glow. And out of him comes a visage, a ghostly apparition that is somebody that we've seen before. Good old Uncle Orlak. He produces Gerta and says, "It's about time this elven bitch is gonna get ours." And he runs across the distance and is going to attack Cantriel. Sorry, B. Love you.
No, you don't.
The first one's a 12. Good. Okay. Oh, God.
I was almost going to say, don't you want to use a domain dice on that? I won't force
Actually,
it.
I'm going to use a domain die on this one because I just rolled a 20. So I'm going to use a domain die to reroll. As long as that's within the spirit in your mind.
I'm going to allow it because domain dice are not character driven. They are player driven.
Okay.
And
good.
I believe the audience would want this as well.
Okay. That's still probably going to hit. That's a 24. So, all right. Okay. So, that's 9 points of bludgeoning. Nope. I'm sorry. I'm lying to you.
At least you're honest about it.
11. Okay, that is 13 points of bludgeoning damage. Sorry.
Thorgarn, you have just seen Talmud attack Fig, but you and everybody saw that he basically knocked this woman out of Fig. And then Talmud just spins on his heels, takes a wide swing, narrowly missing Cantriel, and then follows through and connects pretty solidly with Cantriel with Gerta. Talmud,
This is all kinds of messed up.
Thorgarn, you are up.
This is all kinds of messed up. Can we see the spirit still, or is the spirit gone into...
She is fully corporeal against the wall with Fig at her feet with an arrow sticking out of her shoulder, bleeding profusely.
So, frothing at the mouth, Thorgarn is just gonna, yell. It's like, enough of this head games, and he just, charges right in at her. That is a 24 to hit, a 18 to hit, and a 23 to hit.
All 3 of those are going to hit.
All right, so that is 4, 6. So 9 damage, 11 damage, and then that just is, and then just the 1. Oh, sorry, it's 3 because I'm raging.
I need to know what you're attacking with.
Okay, so a total of 20 points of damage with Faithkeeper, the magic warhammer, and then 3 points of damage from the war pick, which is not magical. The second attack only hit because I used the inspiration from Cantriel. So there's a 5 on the die.
Okay, so yeah, you get with the magical axe, or the magical Faithkeeper, you open a couple gashes across an arm and inner side, more blood pouring out. But the pick kind of sticks in and pulls out immediately and barely seems to hurt her.
I assumed as much.
Overall, she's taking quite a bit of damage.
So, as always, the spirits that I see all the time, they have now surrounded her. So there's the nice spectral form around her, the nice spectral form around Cantriel. We got lots of spirits now.
It is Fig's turn again. Fig is still lying unconscious.
Come on, nat 20.
That is a 2.
Oh,
that is 2 failed death saving throws.
Can we use domain dice to reroll that?
It takes 4 domain dice to turn a failed death saving throw into a success.
Well, that's fine.
Okay. He's like, oh, we got plenty. This is the first time that domain dice will be used for this purpose. So, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to turn that there, and then... So 4 domain dice have been spent to turn that success, or failure, into a success. So Fig now has 1 failure, 1 success. Excellent use of the domain dice.
I mean, Megan's not here. Like, it's... We got to keep Fig going.
Yep. Cantriel, you are up. Talmud has just attacked you. You are swarmed by the ancestral spirits that I believe grant you disadvantage, which, depending on whom you attack, Cajun Kevin has decided he will not stand for you guys being under 40 domain dice, so we're going to bump you guys back up to 40. That's... Well, I should have left it the way... I'll leave it here for now. Yeah. Thank you, Cajun Kevin, for the bits for the domain die. So, yeah. V, or Cantriel.
Yes.
You have been whacked by Talmud. You're surrounded by these spirits. You have disadvantaged, depending on the attack you make. That will either be a disadvantage or a straight attack.
All right. Well, Cantriel will look up at Uncle. So nice to see you again. Next time, let's see Auntie. And she's going to Misty Step her way and over to an occupied area as far away from Talmud and Witchy Poo as she can get.
All right, so you kind of move into an opposing corner, not drawing an opportunity attack because of your Misty Step.
And that's a bonus action.
Yep.
And then she's going to draw her bow, aim it at Elizabeth. Hold on, does this consistently say the advantage in the D6 each time? For the sworn enemy?
She will remain your sworn enemy for 7 days, I believe, or until she dies.
Okay, so that's a yes. Holy crap. Okay, 19 hit.
A 19 does hit. So that's your standard damage plus modifiers plus 3d6.
Holy hell. Hold on. I have to map.
Yeah, don't ask me to do it because apparently I get it all wrong.
21 points.
No, I think we should. Somehow you add 10. And
I know, I was like, you gave me 33 last time.
All right, what was the total?
What did I just say? 21. Yes, 21.
I thought you were being just snarky.
No, I actually was
How
like,
much was
wait,
it? What did I just say?
What did I say? What did I say? I was like, I think it was 21 and the jury was going 21.
Okay, so this is going to be very fortuitous because at this exact moment, I want you guys to pay very close attention to what I'm about to do. You have 40 domain dice.
What the heck did he just do?
You now have 50 domain dice because Chameleon Fam has just tipped $50 to load you up with a hot mess of domain dice. So, thank you.
big thank you, Chameleon Fam.
Thank you, Chameleon Fam.
We got to keep Fig alive.
And this is a very fortuitous moment because as you feel the blessing of an unknown patron saint and the magic of your oath bow, as we just lost Jeremy.
Scotty.
No, Scotty.
Scotty.
We'll do a quick rearrangement once Scotty gets back in. Actually,
Do I get her?
I didn't want Scotty to miss this.
Like, we can hold off. Hmm?
We have not taken a break yet.
I was just going to say we can come
we,
back.
leave
We can
everyone
come
like a
back from the
cliffhanger?
break. So this is going to be the classic moment, is in like serial television. As you release the arrow, it starts to fly through the air, and then
But I want to describe what she does.
we will be right back. And when we come back from the break with Griveth back in here, you will be able to describe for us how you kill this figure. And yeah, so we're going to do that real quick, though, before we dip into the regular break. First off, once again, shout out to Chameleon Fam for the awesome tip and domain dice for the players, as well as Cajun Kevin with those bits. Every domain dice counts. As you see, they've been burning through them, using them for very good causes tonight, as they always do. Shout out to everybody hanging out with us in the chat, and we're gonna jump into this break for 10 minutes, and I'm going to, before I play the regular break, I'm going to play two quick promos. The first is I'm going to play the Jasper's Game Day promo again. Then I'm immediately going to play the domain dice. Nope, the Dice Tower. Promo. That Dice Tower. Man, I kind of don't want to go to break now. Scraticus just started hosting the channel, has raided the channel with...
And we just got Scotty back.
A whole bunch of viewers.
Sorry, I don't know what happened there. My internet.
All right, okay. Here's what we're going to do. Everybody's in the wrong place. Scotty's back. We just got raided, which, of course, as you guys know, gives you another domain die. So you are... We're going to get rid of that. We're going to do that. We're going to go do. So you guys have 51 domain dice. All of the love coming in from the Scraticus channel. Thank you, everybody. We are just about to go to break, but we had as you can tell from the weird rearrangement, we were about to get a kill. Thank you, Lydia from Castlemag Lydia, for the 300 bits. Before we go to break here, and I do hope those of you that have just joined us in this raid will stick around for the few minutes. I want Cantriel to describe as this arrow from her oath bow that is also a sentient bow. What is the name of your bow?
It
I
is
almost called you
sempre,
Griveth because the way it is on the screen.
sorry, sempre cavatina.
Sempre Cavatina, which is imbued with, it is a sentient bow imbued with the spirit of your deceased mother. Describe how, as you fire this against your sworn enemy, this woman that has been plaguing you in this library, how you kill her with the second shot from this arrow.
So Cantriel lifts up her bow, and her eyes are piercing at this point. In fact, they're probably shifting into a very, very icy blue from her usual like sea foam green orbs, seeing that wintry trait coming through. And she pulls the bow back and she just looks at her, and it's a very calm and cool look that she's giving her. I've lost enough people in my life, dearie. And quite frankly, these are my friends. And you, quite frankly, are not, you little bitch. And she lets go of the arrow, and it pierces directly into that heart that the other arrow just narrowly missed. And it almost looks as if it has this golden spark to it. And this gold just sort of seeps up and through this lovely woman, Elizabeth, as she almost fades with the power of the arrow, basically ending her existence.
As her physical form begins to fade away, it dissolves from the brilliance of the arrow and the strike, the magical energy, leaving behind a withered, pale form of a succubus. She begins screaming in her fiendish form. Wings, bat-like leathery wings, fold out from her back. She pumps once, flying up all the way towards the vaulted ceiling, the 20-foot ceiling in this library, just crying out. And then she barely makes it to the top as she arches her back and collapses into the now burned and charred ruins of the library table that she destroyed previously with a tremendous...
And I'm still the prettier one, too.
As she's locked in this hideous death throw. And that is now where we are going to take a brief 10-minute break. As I was explaining, I'm going to show, especially for those of you who are just showing up, I'm going to show two quick 30-second promos. The first is for the Jasper's Game Week streaming event that is coming up next week, starting on Sunday. Then immediately for the Dice Tower of Mesro by Mini Terrain Domain, a custom dice tower that is actually right here that I handcrafted, is currently available for auction. Andrew, if you wouldn't mind throwing that link he's already ahead of me. Throwing the link up there. So we're going to run these two real quick, and then we're going to jump into our 10-minute break with the usual break time spiel so you can refresh your beverages and bladders and whatnot. So we will see you back here in about 11 minutes. Mini Terrain Domain presents, in association with Fenway Jones and Jason Teeter, 5 days, 15 games, 40 hours, one great cause. With games mastered by Castle Mac, Mini Terrain Domain, WebDM, Little Red Dot, Kaylee, Celeste Conowitch, Erasmus Expeditions, Nerdarchist Dave, Grimjack, Drop the Die, James Haig, James Intercasso, Jonathan Fry, B. Dave Walters, and Dan Dillon. Featuring these incredible sponsors. Sunday, May 12th through Thursday, May 16th, 4 p.m. to midnight Eastern daily. Jasper's Game Week, only on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is The Intermission. Mini Terrain Domain, or MTD, is a channel dedicated to the love of and participation in the world of tabletop role-playing games. Whether we're designing encounters or miniature terrain, building worlds or dice towers, or just playing games, everything we do here is because we love this amazing hobby. That is why the mission statement of Mini Terrain Domain is simply imagine, build, play. If you like to watch live play or actual play D&D games, you can do so at twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain 3 days a week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. On Sundays, you can join us for Cult of Personality, a long-running campaign set in the Tomb of Annihilation adventure setting. On Mondays, you can join us for All That Glitters, a Waterdeep Dragon Heist campaign guaranteed to be epic proportion. And every Thursday night, you can join us for Dawnbringers, the Forge of Fury. This is a series of mini campaigns going across the gamut of several well-known modules. Season 1, which is available on youtube.com/Mini Terrain Domain, took place in the Sunless Citadel, and Season 2 is currently taking place the Forge of Fury. If you can't join us in the chat for our live shows, that's okay. You can usually catch the roleplay, or rather the replay, on YouTube just 2 days later. If you're a fan of what we do here and you'd like to support what we do, there are a variety of ways you can do this. First, simply follow the Twitch channel or hit the subscribe button on YouTube. Next, make sure you follow all of the participants of each game or show on their various social media platforms. To do this, if you're watching live with us on Twitch, you can simply type an exclamation point and that person's name into the Twitch chat, or on YouTube, you can look down below the information bar and all of their links can be found there. Finally, if you would like to provide monetary support, which flows right back into the production of the channel so we can continue making great content, you can join the growing list of patrons on Patreon. Additionally, you can also use Ko-Fi or coffee to buy a coffee or two. I like coffee. But the absolute best way to support the channel is to follow and subscribe on Twitch and YouTube and join us in the chat. If you have an Amazon Prime account and you link it to your Twitch account, you can subscribe to one channel per month absolutely free. No matter what you decide to do, we are just happy to have you here. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more great content in just a few moments. Remember, metadata!
Hi everyone, I'm V, and I have the YouTube channel, The Crafting Muse. Please be sure to go over there and check it out if you too would like to learn how to make some tabletop terrain, paint miniatures, as well as some game accessories. I'm always happy to have new subscribers over there.
Learn the ways of the Game Master, the Dungeon Master, and delve into the minds of the players. If you're looking for adventure, excitement, thrills, and a dice-rolling good time, grab the modules each month and play the campaign with your gaming group with quest givers DM Scotty and DMG. They're taking you on an epic journey through the role-playing experience every Friday. You're sure to get hooked on adventure.
And we really liked the idea of creating adventures together, so we thought that'd be a lot of fun to share with you guys.
I didn't think this kind of stuff would come out of my brain. We are quest givers, and I'll see you in the next video.
Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is a collection of 4 adventures for the 5th edition of the world's most popular role-playing game. The adventures are setting neutral and meant to be seamlessly dropped into any world that has a large seaside city and a jungle environment. With a bit of adaptation, the environments could be changed to suit any group. In Treaty of the Tiger King by Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, a distant king arrives at the city to negotiate the peaceful end of a war, but the mercenary guild has other insidious plans for him. Will the players be able to thwart assassination attempts against King Rami and help him negotiate circles of social intrigue in order to finally end the war? In Madness of the Majestic Menagerie by Ken Brees of Burling's Beard, the famous Majestic Menagerie draws hordes of visitors to the metropolis and cultural hub known since time immemorial as Splendor by the Sea. But now the gates of the famous zoo have been shut, and the grand opening of the new section has been jeopardized by a spate of mysterious accidents and, it's whispered, grievous injuries due to uncontrollable creatures. Mr. Majestic seeks to hire investigators and troubleshooters who can keep a low profile to iron out any problems before the impending grand opening becomes a complete disaster. Do you have what it takes to uncover what's driving the madness that's befallen the Majestic Menagerie? In The Infernal Collection by Sharang Biswas, when an influential fashion designer is found dead days before a major fashion show, heroes are called in to solve the mystery, prevent any further destruction, and help the fashion house prepare for the show. Gorillas in Their Midst by Jacob W. Norman of Mini Terrain Domain is a pulp action adventure wrought with perilous challenges and a high possibility of death. But what is adventure without danger? Of course, there is the lure of vast piles of unclaimed treasure and the accompanying fame that await those intrepid adventurers who would defy the odds and plunge into the heart of darkness. In this adventure, the characters will face raging river rapids, wicked waterfalls, poisonous plants, venomous vines, sinking sands, treacherous traps, and the vicious jungle demon itself, Awakane Gori. Grab your satchels, fedoras, and bullwhips. Adventure awaits. The Adventure Mixtape also comes with 4 original songs inspired by and written for the heroic adventures herein. This collection of music and story is something unique. We had no better word for it than mixtape. If you ever received a cassette, CD, or digital playlist curated to take you on a memorable journey, then you'll recognize what you find inside this volume. Also included in the Adventure Mixtape, courtesy of Kelsey Dion of the Arcane Library, are exclusive combat cards. Special cards that contain all of the items, monsters, and spellcasters found within these adventures to make running your adventure all the more easier. Adventure Mixtape, a music and adventure anthology, is available exclusively on drivethrurpg.com.
Griveth, once home to the most wondrous kingdom the world had ever known, blasted to nothing in just a fortnight. It is here that the fiends of hell walk among us. It is here where all things die. Welcome to Griveth. Demon invaders roam the landscape and have conquered all. The world is a ravaged and wrathful wasteland, where the old world lies buried beneath the blood and sand with its gods and its secrets. Water is fought over with blood and steel. Compatible with the 5th edition of the world's oldest fantasy role-playing game, this book contains all new character creation options, including all of the familiar classes with new aspects befitting the ravaged wastelands of Griveth, along with new backgrounds, subclasses, spells, feats, and so much more. New races will allow you to play as the cursed Ash Elves, the Forsaken Humans, the Primordial Incarnate, the Proud Orcs, the Reptilian Suri, or the Infernal-Blooded Tieflings. New game mechanics such as blood, grit, and effort give your games an intense focus on lethality and survival. Numerous roll tables full of ideas to help bring your games to life. Featuring incredible thematic art by Brandish Gilhelm of Broodhammer Games, as well as Lloyd Collins. The people of Griveth are not heroes. In Griveth it is courage just to survive. Will you rise to face the tide of demons, or will you succumb to the hostile elements? Available now on drivethrurpg.com.
Midi Terrain Domain
Wait, what?
presents, in association with Benway Jones and Jason Teeter. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn off both promos, so they both triggered at the same time.
Now we get to do-si do, right?
Coming out of the, I was like, wait, what's happening? We are back. Thank you to everybody who stuck around during the break. Thank you for sticking with us.
And apparently Griveth is not going to be played by V.
Oh yeah, let's fix this real quick. Everybody cue your cameras, and of course, we're gonna play a little guessing game here. Actually, Jeremy, turn yours back on. And Ted, turn yours back on. Now, Scotty, turn yours on. All right, and V. I don't know what you're pointing at, Jeremy. You're just randomly pointing around. Anytime you want to re-roll, I see you randomly pointing like over here somewhere, but I know you mean domain dice. Oh man. Okay, we got the Chinese fire drill out of the way.
Oh yes, that was fun.
Okay, so Cantriel has just dispatched the succubus that has now landed in the midst. Fig is lying in pieces on the floor, chest caved in from Talmud. Cantriel is bruised and wounded, also because of Talmud. Griveth is just stirring to consciousness in the corner on the floor. Thorgarn, this arrow that Cantriel fired and took out the succubus basically went over your head as you were also engaged with the succubus in her human form. And she has just screeched up to the ceiling and collapsed dead in the middle of the room in front of you. Everybody, I'm going to throw it first because you got the kill, Cantriel. I'm going to throw it to you first for post-combat reactions.
Oh, before we do that, can I do something?
Sure.
Okay.
He said, wondering if he would regret it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, oh, you will. You will. I'm just telling you now.
Give us 30 minutes, folks.
Okay, so this is all happening in a flash, right? And Griveth is just waking up. So he sees, he just notices that Talmud is laying into Cantriel. He now does Talmud is now out. Talmud is now out of the charm, right?
Yes, Talmud is in fact out of the charm.
Okay, that doesn't make any difference. But anyways, it might for Talmud. Okay, so in this blur of everything that's going on, Griveth sees this, and the first thing in his head is he must stop Talmud from attacking Cantriel. Okay. But as this anger like lurches up in him, it draws something else out. Okay. And he feels like, you know how he's been life drained, like he feels there's this primal need that he must get the life back, right? So he leaps over to Talmud, and I'm going to do a grapple check on Talmud.
Talmud, I'm going to have you make this check at disadvantage because you are just coming out of the charm.
Oh.
Are you still raging? Has he had time to turn that off? Because if he's raging, he would have advantage.
Well, then you're going to roll straight.
Well, I rolled the same thing on both die anyways. Which is a 21.
Oh, you beat me. Okay.
Oh, no.
Okay, so I kind of imagine Talmud snapping out of this. You hear this kind of guttural growl, Talmud, right? And just as you turn, you see Griveth leaping towards you, trying to tackle you. And as he, you know how he has a sword on a strap, it kind of dangles from his arm, and he's got the shield, the new shield that he got, that he kind of does the same thing where he kind of frees his hands to like grapple, but he's got everything. So as he leaps up towards you, you see the shield, and you know how the shield normally has the picture or the kind of the flowing waterfall of Eldath on it. That waterfall fades from the shield, and you see a large black tree like growing up onto the shield. And as Griveth leaps towards you, you see his eyes go pitch black. And as he snarls at you, you see fangs start to come down from his incisors, and he's leaping for you like an animal, like he's leaping for you, like for your throat. But you you shove him off as he tries to tackle you.
What is going on around here? Is everyone going mad?
So Griveth slams into the wall from missing you, and then he swings around, and you see that he's back to normal. His eyes are normal, the normal blue. His teeth are normal. The shield doesn't have the tree on it anymore.
Talmud leans down and kind of grabs the front of your armor and pulls you close. Get a hold of yourself.
What happened?
I don't have any clue. Everybody's swinging their weapons around at one another.
The two of you are fighting over the same girl, and she's going to point to the carcass on the table. That's what got into both of you.
I don't remember. It's so vague. It's like a shadow in my mind.
Well, let's just say a pretty face is a very powerful thing. No?
I remember we were supposed to help her, and
No.
What happened?
She worked her charms on you, is my guess. On both of you at that. So hey, look at that. You two have something in common now.
So while they're all squabbling, can I go over and check on Fig?
Probably a good idea.
Yes.
Cantriel's on make sure they don't kill each other duty. You can help with the other one.
So I have a healer's kit. Is that able to just auto stabilize on, or does that not work on constructs either?
That is a good question that I will ask my oracle. The oracle says, stabilize creature 0 point with the. Yep, it just says creature, does not clarify. So you do not need to make a medicine check. You can use your healer's kit, though it's non-traditional, as Fig is a construct.
Oh, so maybe the medicine kit for a Warforged just happens to be some, gears and some extra screws or something. I don't know. But
I imagine it like looking through this medical bag, and you're like looking at the salves and the bandages and all this stuff, and you're like, I wouldn't even know where to put this stuff. And then there's like that little hammer that you use for testing reflexes, and you're just like knocking a couple gears back into place, but you figure it out. You're able to kind of manually bend some pieces of the chest plate into back into shape and bring Fig around. Fig is stabilized, but at 0 hit points.
Yay.
Wait, I can help. So I kind of hold out my hand, and I'm not really sure, like, if this is going to work. Is this being alive, or is it just like I've called a toy? It's a mechanical thing. It's not a. So I kind of gently put my hand down onto Fig, and I touch Fig on the forehead, and it indeed works. I feel the holy power like flowing from me into her, so she heals 5 hit points.
Him.
I'm sorry, I always want to call her. He heals 5 hit points, so that would bring him up. But I'm kind of like stunned at myself, like I didn't know.
What
if
are
that
you
would
doing?
work.
What effect are you using?
Lay on
me?
hands.
Yeah,
Lay on hands.
it does not work on Fig.
Oh, it doesn't. Oh,
No, you feel the power of Eldath flowing through you, and you feel as it reaches your hand, the power sort of swirls in your hand, making it tingle and almost numb with magical vibration, but the energy will not flow into Fig's metallic body.
I can't help him. Are we gonna lose?
Give me
No.
Actually, I want an insight check for Griveth or a religion check.
Okay. 15.
Okay, yeah, you figure that it has to do with the fact that Fig is not a living, breathing being, as opposed to doubting Eldath's blessing.
Okay, and I feel bad because I've grown fond of this strange creature, right? And he, you know, he's become part of the group, and I feel that I feel guilty because I was kind of saying this thing doesn't have a soul, and it's so easy to possess something like this, and then it got possessed. I was kind of warning everybody about this, and then it got possessed, and I feel some guilt about that because I don't want to. I don't really want to believe that anymore about Fig. But I'm like, is it true? Is it what I'm saying? Is that right? Is that true? So I'm kind of having a
moment.
A moment, yes.
Let me try on him, Griveth.
And I stumble a bit because I'm still only at 1 hit. I mean, I got pretty shit hammered, so I'm pretty, I'm pretty bad shape.
I've never heard that.
I'm not
I've been emotionally torn up. I got blown up by a fireball.
I have never heard the
I turned into a
phrase.
vampire.
I have never heard the phrase. I got shit hammered.
Well, I would also imagine the lingering effects of the necrotic kiss have got to have their toll.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Both emotionally and physically.
So as all this is going on, Cantriel, what are you doing?
First, I'd look and make sure that Talmud and Griveth aren't going to actually kill each other, and that they're in their respective corners. And then I'd go over to the many parts of Fig.
Well,
and kneeling.
Fig is whole, but there's like little piece. He's like, for the most part, his body is together.
So he's the Lego piece with a couple of the stray little
there's like some gears. There's the bent chest pieces. Thorgarn's done his best to put most of it.
Okay.
Like, I just suddenly had this image of like, he does what he can, and then there's still a few loose parts laying around, and Thorgarn's just like, just sliding them closer to Fig's body, but doesn't really know what to do with them.
So then Cantriel would, first she'd sort of like quickly put a hand on Griveth's shoulders. Let me work on this one. You need to sit down and rest. And then she'd walk over to Thorgarn and sort of like pat his shoulder, like sort of like, good job. And then she'd kneel down to where Fig is. No, not like condescendingly, like, truly like good job for doing what he could do with Fig. And then she'd kneel down and just sort of gathering the parts that are still sort of left askew and surrounding Fig. She'd gather them up and she'd bring them into her hands and just sort of look at Fig and look at her hands. And she'd first do her mending cantrip to make sure that these find their way to the right point on Fig. And as she's doing this, you see the gear sort of levitate up in her hand, and there's sort of this swirling mist of blues and purples that encompass these. And as they start shooting towards Fig, they find their perfect spots and sort of land into themselves where they're supposed to be. And then she's going to take a very deep breath, and you can tell she's looking very worn. She's looking very tired, if not weary. And she's just going to rest her hand on Fig's chest. And she's just going to let her head fall down so that her chin is resting upon her chest. And she's not saying anything, but you see her hand glow in the same swirling blue and purplish coloration. It's almost mimicking what Fig's natural glowing colors are. And she's going to cast Cure Wounds on him.
All right.
But I need to find my dice for that.
I would like Thorgarn, Griveth, and Talmud to make perception checks, but Talmud and Griveth will do so at disadvantage.
Since we were having the abundance of domain dice coming in, I'm going to re-roll that 4. As a 13.
Mine here.
All right, just a reminder that I cannot see the chat. I can see that you guys are posting things in the chat, but I can't see the chat. So I don't know if any of those were meant for me.
All right, Fig gets a 9. That was me. And if we do a short rest, I have something planned.
Okay, well, I think that we're going to lead into that because while Griveth and Talmud are kind of toe-to-toe, Cantriel is taking care of Fig. Thorgarn, I imagine, just sort of kind of shuffles or shifts out of the way.
I'm there helping, watching, trying, staying out of the way, but doing anything that, Cantriel might need.
Well, as she's doing this and you're kind of shifting and watching and helping, you see at this point where she's kind of levitating the pieces and rearranging them, putting them where they go. Imagine that you're looking at these things and then you have this sort of rack focus. Your vision shifts to focus not on the gears, but across the room, where you see on the east wall that the door that was there must have been blown open by the blast from the fireball. And because all hell broke loose, nobody seemed to notice. And you can see into this room and what is waiting for you on the other side of the door appears to be a nice, comfortable-looking bedroom.
Oh. Yeah.
You actually can see what appears to be a spacious bedroom. You can see that there is a bed and there's some floor coverings and a few other things in there that do make it look like a comfortable and a less burned area than what you are currently in. So if you would like to, you can it's at your discretion to tell the others what you've noticed.
So it looks like there's a bedroom if we're going to spend some time resting here. If somebody needs to lay down. Griveth, you said you're not feeling so hot.
I won't say no to it either.
I mean, yeah, I could go for a little bit of a rest, I suppose.
So I'll step into the bedroom, make sure there's actually nothing in there that's going to leap out and attack us.
Well, not everything here attacks us, cousin. Maybe we should, and he kind of looks over at Griveth.
Well, no offense, but Griveth was just on the ground a moment ago. He shouldn't be doing any exploring yet.
Fair enough.
So what's in the room more so than what I could see from inside the library?
It's a sleeping quarters. It looks to have there's a desk in there that's piled with papers. There are some additional books and scrolls and things like that. This definitely looks like, between the library that is partially burned and this bedchamber, seems like it may have belonged once upon a time to a dwarven scholar in the fortress. Otherwise, it seems to be a safe room.
No rug, no suit of armor in the corner.
No suit of armor in the corner. No rug.
Well, can't say for certain, but looks safe.
So, in the interest of letting you guys transition into a short rest, of course, you can take care of any healing potions, utilize hit dice, which will also benefit from, I believe it's a D8 now for Cantriel's Song of Rest.
No, Bardic went up. The inspiration went up to D8. Its rest is still at a D6.
Oh, rest is still at a 6. Okay.
Until I think it's 9th level. So yeah, that's going to be fun to keep track of the both.
Yeah. So yeah,
Is
so
it
you
D6
get an
for
extra.
every die, or is it just one?
No, it's just 1d6
Okay.
to add to any hit dice you spend. If necessary, Talmud had mentioned you have healing potions, so utilize whatever healing you would like to use. During this time, would anybody be checking out the ruins of the library or this room? Kind of figured Thorgarn seems to be the resident person to poke and paw at everything. Why don't you go ahead and just give me a investigation check?
I can do that. That is a 15.
So between the library and the room, you managed to uncover quite a few books, some of which are now burned, but quite a few books that are full of dwarven lore, books about the region, all kinds of things that you would find in a scholar's library. You find amongst the shelves 4 spell scrolls. You find a scroll of alarm, a scroll of disguise self, a scroll of enlarge or reduce, and a scroll of shield. As a reminder, my house rule is that anybody can read from a scroll as an action, but if you are not a spellcaster, which I believe only Talmud falls into that category, as we figured out, if Talmud were to read a scroll, or attempt to read a scroll, he would need to make a DC 15 intelligence check to see if he can actually read what is on the scroll. Also, with your investigation check, in the room, you uncover a secret compartment. There's a partially dislodged brick in which you find 110 gold pieces and a cat's eye gem worth 70 gold pieces.
Cool. So any of the lore stuff, is there anything about Vondren Fohammer? Anything about Moradin?
You definitely would find a couple of books on various religions. You find mention of Eldath, you find mention of Shantea, and the name completely escaped my mind, but various other Tyr, Torm. you find mention of quite a few of the different deities. Give me, if you want to spend a little more time looking through the books, give me another investigation check.
See, 13.
There's a possibility if you had a very long time and searched through all of these books, you could possibly find something that related to Vondren Fohammer or other notable individuals, but you're not seeing anything in this cursory book.
All right, so if there's anything that like seems to be like dwarven myths and legends, then I might try to put that in the pack. Anything that specifically gets into dwarven faith, I would do the same thing. But I mean, if nothing after this,
I would say you would probably be able to realistically take no more than 2 of these books. These dwarven books are notoriously thick, heavy covers, pretty good sized books.
Mm-hmm.
So you could say that you have a book on dwarven myths and legends and dwarven religions.
Nice.
I imagine Thorgarn, in sorting through everything, kind of just organizing generally all of the books that weren't burned on some shelves, making sure that they're separated from the ones that did burn. What about the rest of you? Who's taking the bed?
Cantriel. No, I mean, if someone else needs it, but
and Griveth.
No, then she'd get out of the bed. It would be like one of those things, like she gets in and gets comfy, sees them coming, she's like, nope, okay, let's move.
6 inches on the edge.
She'd be off.
So you all find yourselves pretty weary, except maybe Talmud. I don't think Talmud took, or Thorgarn. I don't think either of the dwarves took any damage.
I did take some damage, but I spent my last hit die for gaining some hit points back, so I feel okay.
Well, that's right, because everybody did take damage from the fire.
Yeah.
So everybody got pretty singed. Everybody got pretty battered. Fig is mobile. At one point, as you guys are all just sort of just taking this rest, and Fig just keeps periodically lifting his head. Just, you hear that kind of creak, looking like he wants to say something, and then turns to you, Thorgarn. Did she try to mash her face against my face? Is that why I hurt so much?
No, I do believe she used the ability to take control of your body from within the inside. And you hurt because Talmud hit you to knock her out. It's true, cousin. I mean,
yes, that's true. I'm sorry, Fig.
I don't know why you hit Cantriel, but I mean,
I hit Cantriel.
Yes.
I point to the nice nasty bruise on her shoulder. Yeah, right there.
Or rather, Uncle decided to come back out and play because, I'm his favorite person.
Oh, I am very sorry. Both to you, Fig, and to you, Cantriel. I apologize.
Quite frankly, it wasn't you, it was her. Don't even worry about it.
Something about nasty bitch needs to die. I don't know.
Well, he said that before. He doesn't exactly like my kind.
Uncle Orlak is, you'll remember.
Oh,
He's elfist.
I like your kind.
Well, maybe not quite enough as we'd hoped. And she'll nod to Griveth, like just to kind of like sit down on the bed, and she's going to sit down, like if there's like a chair or something, if there's just sort of a corner to prop herself up and to sort of just sit down and breathe a little bit.
So you're getting up off of the bed?
Yeah, if Griveth is like looking really run down. She'll offer the bed to him.
So
Will you sing us a song?
had you sat down or laid down on the bed prior to that? I'm trying to picture, because in my mind you're like reclining on the bed and kind of.
She would have done like the perch thing to see her everyone's sort of settling first before, she can lay claim to it, so to speak, for lack of a better expression.
Okay, so then you decide to get up and let Griveth take the bed.
Seeing how Griveth is definitely worse off than she is, she would, yeah.
So as you stand up, you find it a little bit difficult to stand up. And you're sort of pulled back towards the bed as you realize the edge of the bed frame is adhering to you. And the bed begins to shift. And that's where we're going to end. I'm surprised nobody caught that when I pointedly asked who takes the bed. And then I look in the chat.
I did catch it knowing you, but still
I look in the chat and I see that however many comments ago, Cajun Kevin said, and the bed turns out to be a mimic.
And I'm like, yeah, it's like he's asking really weird.
So I do this thing, and I've warned you guys about this before. But I do this thing as a DM where I will blatantly lie to you in character. And I will ask certain questions without any kind of leading information, leaving it to you, the player and character, to kind of use your own natural insight to kind of, wait a minute. Because if I'm like outright lying to you in character, I'm not going to say, you might want to roll an insight check. So that was one of those cases where I pointedly asked you about the bed and nobody questioned it. So,
well, it's also succubus is a tool of her trade.
You, at least you didn't hear hear a splorching sound. This room's too dirty to contain
I was going to say,
a gelatinous cube.
Beds that make splorching noises is a bad place to find yourself.
Well, maybe, if this were a home game, it'd be like, well, Bones 4 just, shift. You want to use that,
the
bed mimic.
And just so we can kind of place this mechanically, it kind of skews with the 1 hour long rest timeline a little bit. But in my mind, as we start next week, you will all have already completed your long rest. So you will have the benefits of the hit dice and everything when we start.
Long rest or a short rest?
Or sorry, short rest. Not long rest. Not long rest.
I was like, what? Yeah.
Short rest. Also, for tonight's session, we need to remember to I need to set this aside because it's going to be 2 weeks, but we need to remember to let Megan know that Fig what is that 9? So you guys need to figure out what healing Fig would have taken to get back up. I'll let Megan decide that if she's going to spend hit dice or wants to use her own cure powers or whatever, if she has them. And all of you for tonight's session receive a point of inspiration because I really had a blast with that fight. There were a lot of things dependent on saving throws. Everybody was turning against everybody else. It was wonderfully role played, wonderful dodging of obvious metagame things that you as players knew. So, Cajun Kevin, I actually had decided when they went into that room that there was a mimic in there, and then I happened before I noticed it to see that you had said something. So we'll call it a little bit of both. You and I both take credit for it. So we're going to call this mimic Cajun Jake for next session. In the lore, it has a name, though you may never know it. Great session. As a reminder to everybody that there will not be any of the usual Jolt of Personality, All That Glitters, or Forge of Fury next week. Instead, starting on Sunday at 4 p.m., running through Thursday, every day from 4 p.m. to midnight for 8 hours. There will be 3 games, a 4 to 6 game, a 6 to 8 game, and an 8 to midnight, all Eastern time zone. Games taking place right here every single night for 5 nights in a row, and we've got some big names. I hope to see you guys in the chat. We are going to be giving away prizes during the stream. In the chat, we will be giving away free Metadata coffee. We will be giving away 4 packs of minis from Pacesetter Games as well as WizKids. And with certain fundraising goals set each day, some of the prizes that are going to be awarded are, we have the Warlord's Crusade, who is an armorer working with leather, has done some work for some movies and television, did some commission work for some prop work for the television show Spartacus, has donated, I believe it's 3 sets of leather bracers and 2 awesome leather bags that are kind of like almost like backpacks or messenger bag type things. We've got Axe and Shield prizes we'll be giving away. There is, as we hit higher fundraising goals, we will be giving away a legendary bundle from D&D Beyond, valued at almost $500. A Valhalla screen, Dungeon Master screen from Dogmite Games. These are these custom wooden, magnetically held together DM screens that are typically go for like $400 a piece. Wormwood Gaming is going to be donating some stuff. We've got sets of dice, I think. There's just so much stuff. You have to go there and check out who all the sponsors are to see whatever else. I know we've got some sets of books, both the Art and Arcana. We've got the alt art cover version of the core set. We've got a regular core set. And all of this stuff is, as we hit fundraiser goals, these are incentives. All you have to do is be at the game, and we're going to run the raffles in the chat, and you'll have an opportunity to join, and then your name could be drawn when you will win one or more of those prizes throughout the week. With the ultimate goal, the out of the gate goal that we may adjust depending on how each day goes, but our goal is to win. Or not win. Our goal is to raise $6,000 next week. And we absolutely think we can do it. We raised $600 in a couple weeks just based on raffling off seats in the flagship games each day. We've already raised like a couple $100 in the auctions that are taking place, both for the Dice Tower of Mesrol that I created, as well as an alt art cover core set that is being auctioned off right now over the next couple days. So I definitely hope to see you guys next week. We will return the following week back to our regularly scheduled games. And so in 2 weeks, we will be back here for episode 14, as yet to be named. I couldn't come up with a clever title that quickly. Something about why is this bed so sticky didn't seem right. There's a lot of wrong ways we can go with that. If I need something highly inappropriate, I'll turn to Talmud or Griveth. Not Jeremy or Scotty, Talmud or Griveth. Or more pointedly, one of Talmud's ancestors will probably provide a very colorful title for us. So with that, we are going to end the stream the same way we end every stream, and you can say it with me if you want.